Okay, so don't say the name, but you know what the answer is for
Trivia.
trivia.
Yeah,
And we've got 3 giveaways tonight.
we do.
You know what they are?
We do. We have grips.
Rips for who are we giving those away to?
This is for the What's It Worth
Okay.
segment.
Right,
Grips.
right.
And then we have these beautiful sticker sheet. Marty Smith sticker.
Yeah, Richie Vasallo had those made back when
Yeah, they're really nice.
when Marty and Nancy passed away. And we've got that, and I know we've got
And
the
then
poster too.
we have a poster.
And I've got
Marty Smith poster, yeah.
I've got the picture of that.
The poster is,
I have the posters laying flat, but I have a picture of it so they could all see it.
oh, that's for trivia.
That's for the trivia, yeah. I've got to start the show, okay?
Yeah.
I love you.
Okay.
I'm Jerry Maddox.
And I'm Ryder Maddox in sunny California.
And you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A, hosted by Joe Abbate.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Abbate, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thank you for joining me. The lovely Susie is with me tonight. Susie, how's everything over there in your corner?
Very good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know we've got some cool stuff we're giving away tonight. We were just talking about it before the show goes on. If you want to talk about it again, that might be a really good time. What do we got for the What's It Worth segment? We're doing something a little bit different tonight?
What's It Worth? We have these grips.
Right,
President Petty. Products.com.
right.
Grateful for that.
And we're doing 2 other things. Your viewer appreciation.
Beautiful sticker sheet. Marty Smith sticker sheet.
Right.
They're really nice.
They are really nice. Richie Vasallo made those. And we've got a poster. I don't think you have the poster there,
I don't.
but I'll be showing everybody the poster in just a minute. Okay. All right. In the meantime, I want to thank the sponsors of our show, as always, Motion Pro, Vintco, keep the ride going. Thank you, George Ackerman and the Moto Barn. You have a wonderful event coming up at the end of October. We'll be talking about that in just a moment. Preston Petty Products, Replica, MotorcycleParts.com, Racer X Magazine, the International Motocross Museum, Full Circle Racing, and of course, my dear friend Mike Chamberlain, who's been a big supporter of the show for a while, as well as FastGuyStuff.com and Durfs. Fred Hudgens, thank you so much for ordering 30 more shirts from Susie Creations, 30 more shirts from Durfs. Russell Waters and Amsoil. I know Russell Waters isn't watching tonight. He is down there in North Carolina, and they are having one hell of a mess down there due to the recent hurricane. Let's keep Russell Waters and everybody down there in North Carolina in our prayers. Been a real tough time for people down there in certain sections of North Carolina. We're still running a special, $49.95. And now listen to me carefully, okay? It's $49.95. You not only get over $70 worth of product, including 4 different types of Amsoil lubricants, a Vintage Motocross Q&A shirt, you also become a preferred customer at Amsoil for 6 months. You get 25% off across the board on all Amsoil products. If you want that, just type it in. I'll take the Amsoil special, $49.95. You get the shirt, all the Amsoil products, 25% off across the board at Amsoil. Go to our Vintage Motocross Q&A Facebook page if you would like to make a donation to the show. There is a link to our PayPal account. We were talking just a moment ago about that Marty Smith poster, and I've got it right here. There it is. There's the Marty Smith poster we're talking about. This will be the trivia prize a little bit later on in the show. This will be the trivia prize, and this was a limited production poster that a few people had made. Not a few people, one person in general had it made. They were floating around for not very long after the passing of Marty and Nancy. And we had one, and we want to see somebody enjoy it, okay? So you'll be getting stickers like this for our viewer appreciation, a poster like this for our trivia contest a little bit later on in the show. Don't forget to keep sharing the show, whether you're on Facebook or you are on YouTube. Please share the show. Mention our sponsors. That's always a big help. Ben's Vintage Mini Bike Podcast. Got a new episode coming up on October 13th. If you want to see their last podcast, go over to their page. They've got a couple of them lined up over there. And you'll learn more about mini bikes and Ben and the great things that they're doing over there on their podcast. The next time Try This segment is brought to you by, that's right, Vinco. Vinco, keep the ride going. Always something great going on at Vinco. But tonight, I'm going to show you a tool that we've been using by Motion Pro. And you know what? Enough talk from Joe. Let's get on with it already.
I'd like to discuss with you dowel pins. Where are they? They're in your clutch cover, usually like this. You'll see them on the end like that. It's there to hold the gasket. But sometimes you have to get them out. Let's get a closer look. Dowel pins can generally be found on clutch covers mostly, although sometimes you will find them on center cases as well. It looks just like this. The purpose of it is to make sure that the cases either align correctly, or when you go to put gaskets on your bike, it holds the gasket in place just like that, so the gasket doesn't shift around when you go to put your screws in. Now, sometimes these little dowel pins will stay inside the case, and if that's the matter, you can use a little tool just like this, and it works like a little slap hammer. They're really easy to use, and I'll give you a little example of exactly how it works. They come in different sizes. You put it over the dowel pin just like this, and what you do is take a little T-handle and you can tighten them up so it fits snugly around that dowel pin. Once you get it nice and tight on there, and they come right out just like that. The reason why many times these will stick into that hole is because of galvanic corrosion through dissimilar metals. What does that exactly mean in layman's term? This piece is steel. This piece is aluminum or magnesium. The steel will rust. It'll begin to eat into the magnesium or into the aluminum. Much like when your forks rust on your bike, when you run your finger over it, it has that nick. It doesn't necessarily just pit, but it starts to corrode, and that's why sometimes they'll stick in there or stick into the cases of your bike. Now, what if you don't have one of these dowel pin sets? Well, I'm going to give you another little tip right here, and it's got something that you can use at home, guaranteed you have these little tools. This is a punch, and as you can see, it's tapered. You can put that punch right down in that dowel. Make sure it's down there good and secure. Get a pair of pliers and gently, gently twist it out, just like this, and it comes right out. Now, why did I do that? Why didn't I just take the pliers and go right over it and pull it out? Because these little dowel pins are very, very thin. What's going to happen is if you go to grab it with a pair of pliers like this and you go to take it out of there, you're definitely going to bend it. It's going to get flattened out. You're not going to be able to get it straightened out again and get it back in that hole. And you need it there in order to keep this cover straight on the bike and also hold your gasket in place. Generally, as I mentioned, these pins usually go in the case first and not in the side cover, but sometimes they come out in the clutch cover as well.
Yeah, Victo, keep the ride going with over 1,000 products in their catalog. We're going to take a little commercial break. We'll be right back after.
I'm Don Kadowski, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. Don't go anywhere.
Vinco, who already has a full line of vintage parts, now has air shocks that are an exact duplicate of the original air shocks so popular in the late 70s. So whether you're looking to build a full racer or museum showpiece, these shocks will give you that incredible 70s look and improve your bike's performance. These new air shocks are fully rebuildable with Vinco rebuild kits, and all shocks are hand assembled in the USA with all new components. Every component is brand new. Just like the originals, our air shocks are adjustable with 2 chambers, high and low pressure, giving you tremendous flexibility for settings of your bike suspension. The Vinco air shocks come fully assembled and ready for installation. Just add air or nitrogen. The kits include the manual and spacers. Visit Vinco.com to check out the air shocks and all that Vinco has to offer to help you get back on track and to keep that ride going.
sleeves. I've got them for Husqvarna CR 471 through 74 and the WR 400 as well, 74 and 75. They make top end kits and sleeves for just about every type of vintage motocross bike that's out there right now. Don't forget, they also have a great special on shipping. Free shipping over $200. There it is. Free shipping. Free United States Parcel Service priority mail shipping on any orders over $200. That's what you get when you go to Vinco, and you will keep the ride going. We have a lot of parts in their catalog. The SoCal Vintage MX Classic is this weekend, October 5th. It is the third round. It is at Glen Helen, and Debbie and Scott Burnworth will be hosting that event. I was supposed to be on my way down there tomorrow with Eric Luck. But I have, as luck would have it, no pun intended, I have a doctor's appointment for my yearly physical. I can hardly wait. How about getting some stickers from Vintage Motocross Q&A, just $6 for two. And we've got a new batch of stickers that just came in. And you know how cars come out and the first one is nice, but the second year is better and the third one is great? We just got a new batch of stickers in that are absolutely incredible. They will not peel off. They will not wear off. Water doesn't get behind them. They're absolutely fantastic. And we just got, well, Susie just got them all kind of wrapped up today. We will make those available to you just about, well, probably have them on here tomorrow. No, we could start listing them tomorrow. The new, right now even. Okay. Yeah, but we're not really sure on the price yet. So just give me a minute and we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll do something on the page. Okay. Right now it is time for the What's It Worth segment. This is this part of the show where I encourage you, the viewers at home, to guess how much the bike recently sold for. And as Susie mentioned a little bit ago at the start of the show, our prize tonight is a set of Preston Petty GP grips. Those will come directly to you from Preston Petty products. So you look closely as I tell you about this 1971 Yamaha JT1, and whoever gets closest without going over will get the grips. 1971 Yamaha JT1 Mini Enduro 60. This bike was purchased by the seller in October of 2023, reported following several years of storage and refurbishment, was undertaken the following month. Work consisted of refinishing the frame with desert orange bodywork, rebuilding the 58cc two-stroke single, reupholstering the solo seat, and overhauling the fork and carburetor, in addition to replacing the clutch cables, drive chain, and of course the rear sprocket. The bike is further equipped with a 4-speed transmission, a Kickstarter 15-inch wire wheels, drum brakes, full suspension, and auto lube injection. I kind of forgot all about that auto lube injection that was so popular on those Yamahas back at that time. Factory finish is desert orange, as I mentioned a bit ago. It's got white stripes and chrome accented badges that are part of the refurbishment as well. The high-mounted fenders were refinished in white with orange center stripes, and the double cradle steel frame was repainted in black. Additional bike features include a front number plate, black vinyl upholstered solo seat, and it's got folding foot pegs, a skid plate, and a side stand. The front fender has been replaced. The seat pan was refurbished before receiving the replacement cover and foam. The JT1 Mini Enduro is now offered at no reserve with a toolkit, a shop manual, parts receipts, and a clean California title. And this bike was done very, very nicely. I looked at the pictures quite closely before saving them for the show here tonight. And as you can see, the engine, the seat, the bike looks brand new. I like the way the shocks turned out. And there were a few things that, yeah, I mean, I like this too. The rims look beautiful. The hub doesn't look overdone and polished. It looks either to have been tumbled or gently polished or just refurbished just enough. It's got the right cable on there as well. Here's a good shot of the back of that number plate. The grips appear correct. The gray cables. I like everything about this little bike. But here's the thing. How much do you like about it? What do you think this bike recently sold for? The first one to pop in the right answer without going over gets the grips from Preston Petty Products. So how much your bike sold for? $5,000? $6,000. This bike sold for $5,600 plus a 5% buyer fees. It sold September 29th. I want to thank Bill Mascio and the Vintage Motocross Buyers and Sellers Price Guide page. 5,600, 5%. I don't know. I'll tell you what. Whoever gets closest to 5,800 without going over will get the grips. Susie, you got to tell me what's going on, babe.
Wow.
Who got the closest?
Well, Phil Liberty
Phil Liberty.
had 56.35.
Right.
So he's really close.
If anybody got closer to 5,800 without going over,
And then we have 58, huh?
yeah. What else?
No,
Nobody else.
no.
All right. Phil Liberty.
Yeah.
Phil Liberty, you won the grips from Preston Petty Products. I'm going to make sure Paul Standard gets that information, and we're going to get that over to you. Yeah, it'll come directly. Okay, it'll come directly to you from Paul Standard and Preston Petty Products.
Jay Hall had 55. Yeah.
Jay Hall had 55?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's it.
That was it, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get Phil Liberty's address, and we'll get it over to
I
Paul.
have his address. We just sent him out stickers today.
Oh, he bought some stickers. That's right, too.
Yeah, I have his address.
Okay. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run our full circle racing commercial. Then we will be back with more vintage motocross Q&A.
I get asked often, what's the most important thing on Clunker? Answer simple, it's me. That's why I use full circle racing wheels prepped by Tom McAllister. So should you. Watch this and learn why. When racing vintage motocross where suspension is very limited, your wheels can be the difference between winning or serious injury. We chose to run full circle racing wheels because of the super high quality materials and the heavy duty spokes used. Prepped by Tom McAllister, I have the confidence on the track to push way harder through the rough stuff and the bigger jumps, knowing my wheels are going to stay under me. Hey, Clunker may be 50 years old, but his wheels are brand new, and yours should be too. Call Tom McAllister at Full Circle Racing today.
Yeah, you know, we were talking a little bit ago about the price of that JT1, and there was an auction this past week. I think it was was it a Woods auction? I think it might have been. But anyway, there were some prices that I thought were really, really low, especially on a bike like this, 1974 YZ250A. I mean, the bike looks like it's been refurbished a bit, but a YZ250A, a very, very desirable bike, and it went for only $3,000. $3,000, boy, that's not too promising, really. In as far as bike prices go, $3,000. And we also had there was something else that was happening here in another. It was at that same auction. I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. There's this one right here, a Husky. This one looked like a pretty nice bike, though. Sold for $3,200 plus the auction fees. 76 250 CR. A little dent in the tank, but I'll tell you what, this looks like a real nice race bike for $3,200, and it's ready to go. I thought that was a hell of a deal. I think you're going to see things like this happening from now, probably until, well, look, we got the election coming up. A lot of things are going to change while that's going on, but you're also going to have things that get quiet. They get quiet through every 4 years about this time, and things get a little dicey. So I think a lot of people will be hanging on to stuff. Who knows? A good indication. Well, this isn't a political show, but we'll see what happens. And then you'll see what really happens when the Mecum motorcycle auction comes to Vegas in January. I want to thank Mark Farriester and Sunrise Vapor Blasting for doing such a fabulous job for us on so many parts that we've sent him over the years, whether it's carburetors, shocks, all sorts of things. Mark Farriester. So get your stuff, put it in a box, ship it down to Mark Farriester at Sunrise Vapor Blasting. His parts come back absolutely perfect. His turnaround time is like a day. And believe me, before you go out there and buy yourself a vapor blaster or throw it into a bead blaster with all the sand and the grip, which is nice, but listen, nothing gets it cleaner. Nothing puts a better finish on it than vapor blasting. Thank you, Mark Farriester, for all the help you have given us over the years at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Here's the problem. Here's the problem is brought to you by Motion Pro. We've got some questions that have come into us tonight. Let's see what the first one says. Oh, Phil Liberty. He's a busy guy. Oh, no, this is from Chris. You know what? I gotta make this a little bit bigger because I can't see it so well. Here we go. Hi, Joe. A quick, if I can. I saw a clip where you recommended VHT roll bar and chassis paint, satin for rattle can, a replacement. Let me slow down here. Roll bar and chassis paint in satin for engine cases, etc. Question mark. Okay. I need to rattle can a replacement set of cases for my 76 MR175 and looking for a paint choice for the cases and cylinder head. The bike is just going to be a rider with a patina on the frame. Will this fit the bill? Hope to get some guidance from you. Yeah, it absolutely will fit the bill. And what you want to do maybe at this time too, and I like the chassis and roll bar paint, I do. But if you're going to put it on an engine, I would recommend using their brake caliper paint. Brake caliper paint is really good. So use that, and it's got a little more of that, that high heat resilience to it. And before you do that, don't forget, prime is the key. Get that high heat prime as well. It looks like you did a beautiful job cleaning up those cases, Chris. With a job like that, and then follow up with the prime, follow the instructions, put a couple of light coats on there. I don't know if you'd have to wet sand between coats. I don't think you would. But anyway, not to complicate it, VHT chassis and roll bar paint is fine. The brake caliber paint is even better. It's got that high heat resilience. Next question comes from Phil Liberty. Phil's very involved with the show this week. What is the best way to prep a 1974 Honda CR125 frame that is in good condition before painting it with 80/20 gloss black paint? I think you may have covered this topic before. Thanks, as always. Best thing to do is to have it sandblasted. Take it down to your powder coater, or if you have a local sandblaster, get all the paint off. Make sure he gets into the wells underneath. Check around the swing arm mounts, everywhere, the shock mounts, when you get it back, okay? So as soon as he gets done blasting that thing, get an agreement with the guy. As soon as you're done, I want to come down and pick up my frame. You get down there, pick up the frame before any rusting happens to the frame. Get it home, get in there with a flashlight or under a really good light. Check every crotch and crevice of that frame. That's the way you really want to look at it. And now if you see a crack, you'll be able to see it because of that light gray finish. You can have it welded, and you can do whatever it takes to get that frame perfect before you put a nice coat of paint on it that would look just like this, okay? I want to thank you for that question, Phil Liberty. We've got a question here from James Sharp that came into me late last night. I don't know if I'm going to answer it totally right here because it's such a great question, really. And I think I want to spend a little bit more time on it next week, okay? James writes to us, I've been participating in this sport for some 35 years. Where do you see the market going in the future years? Being that the youngest baby boomers are now 60, do you see us still doing this in another 20 years? Well, I'll tell you, James, that's a really good question. And there were a lot of guys out there that were full of doom and gloom just 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, thinking that it wasn't going to go on much further, but it has. And I've always said, and it is thanks to the splinter groups that have come out and made racing more popular. The Missouri vintage guys, the Texas guys, the Florida guys. You've got 2 or 3 clubs out here on the West Coast, including Scott Burnworth's organization. You got Rick Dowdy with the Retro. You've got, who else is out there? I know there are some, Dave Boydston, the Arizona Vintage Riders. Big turnout every year. And these clubs are not related to ARMA in any way. So as long as the racing keeps up out there, I think you're going to have a steady rise in the prices and more interest. Now, James, on a personal note, your son Gavin races. That's a young man that is going to grow up wanting to know more about vintage motocross and the history of the sport. With the older crowd like you and I bringing the younger generation in, that's going to help the sport as well. What will help the sport tremendously, I guarantee it, is something that I tried to do over 10 years ago. If somebody got out there and made a good television show or a really good YouTube channel that really featured the old bikes with coverage of racing and restorations, a show like this, but with more production value, okay? You would have more people interested in the old bikes. The good news, again, but there is no Diamond Dons this year. Diamond Dons last year, you had Kevin Windham, Trampus Parker, Ryan Villapoto showed up for a few races. Get some of those recently retired younger guys. You get them out there, and you'll get that 20 to 25 to 30-year-old and even the teenagers, you'll get them out to the track to see those guys ride. And when you see them rip around on even the vintage bikes or certainly the vintage 80s bikes, you're going to see more people interested in the sport. I just said that we were going to maybe talk more about this last week, but I think I've spoken quite a bit about it up until now. Susie, how are you coming along with our viewer appreciation? I don't want to know just yet, but the viewer appreciation, you got some.
I have somebody, yeah.
You have them on your list? Okay. I don't want to run that just yet. I do want to thank Motion Pro for running our special. They keep it going. 20% off across the board on everything at Motion Pro. Everything except custom-made cables. There it is. When you check out, go to MP9135. That's MP9135. And you'll get 20% across the board off at Motion Pro. Don't forget, Vintage Motocross Q&A t-shirts, hoodies, and sweatshirts are available. They start at just $19.99. We've got a couple that went out today. Mike Conley. Susie made a special new zip-up with a hood on it for, what's his name? Eddie Williams. Got one of those for Eddie.
Yeah.
We got one of those out for Eddie this week, just today, in fact. So if you want anything special, you can have it done. Koozies and mugs, hats, and stickers, all available at Vintage Motocross Q&A. You know what time it is, Susie? No, baby, it's trivia. And then we're going to run a commercial. Then we're going to go to a commercial.
Oh, can you do it now?
What?
I'm having problems.
You're having a problem?
Yeah, go to a commercial.
All right, we're going to go to a commercial because Susie's having a problem. And we will be back after we figure out what Susie's problem is. Just a minute. Hang on. I was doing something here, and okay, here we go.
I'm Gary Semix, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A with Joe Abbate.
I can't find out.
Hang on, we'll get to it. Don't worry. Yeah, something happening with my deal here too. Hang in there, everybody. Whatever the problem may be, we're gonna get to the bottom of it, and we'll be right back with the trivia contest and some other great things happening here.
I'm Brock Glover, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A, and we'll be right back.
Motocross struck America, coming from Europe like a lightning bolt, striking the hearts and minds of people all across the country and the world. Battles of intense racing and cutting rivalries with loyalty to brands and heroes intensified as years of blood, sweat, and dirt flew through the minds of those memories of champions as they wrestled their machines through almost impossible tracks. But where are those past champions? And where are their bikes? Terry Good, an ex-pro motocross racer, has made it his life mission to honor these heroes and the bikes they rode to stardom. We raced, we rode, we lived and breathed motocross. Go back in time and relive those moments, now preserved for the first time ever in the world's first museum dedicated to the history of motocross. Our new building is in the gate. Help us get a great start and you can be part of history. Go to internationalmotocrossmuseum.org and become a part of our team.
Okay, all is well here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. The International Motocross Museum is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. If you donate a motorcycle, it is 100% tax deduction, cash, 100% tax deduction. You can buy anything they have for sale over there, and it is all tax deductible. Don't forget, October 19th is a big, wonderfully relaxed atmosphere, a great event. 50 to 60 works bikes, all laid out in a beautiful park setting in Lake Forest, Illinois. It's going to be great. All you have to do is make a cash donation to the International Motocross Museum, and you will get an invitation with the address on it. I will be there. Susie will be there. Terry Good will be there, and a couple of other legendary motocross racers. Now, as promised, we are going to bring you trivia tonight. Everybody loves that. What's the matter, Susie?
It shows on your personal page.
Yeah, it shows on my personal page. What's the matter? No problem.
That's why
I have it on my personal page.
people are trying to find it.
Well, it's on my personal page and it's on the Vintage Motocross Q&A page. I do the same thing every week. And it's on Facebook. I mean, it's on YouTube as well. So maybe people are having a hard time finding it tonight.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
I'm not sure why.
And somebody said they're on YouTube and make comments on YouTube.
Right.
But we don't see it.
Okay. We're going to keep rolling with the show just the way it is right now. There may have been a little bit of a mix-up on when I shared the show, whether or not I shared it from my personal page or from the Vintage Motocross Q&A page. We're going to roll with it right now. As I said, it is trivia time. What racer had the most factory race bike sponsorships? What racer had the most factory race bike sponsorships? We're going to move on with the show, and we're going to wait for Susie to come up with someone who has the answer. Susie knows the answer, and then I will have proof of who that was. In the meantime, we're going to roll with the show. The Moto Showcase tonight brought to you by Preston Petty Products. As you saw a little bit earlier, the Preston Petty Products, we gave away some grips. And Paul Stannard has been a good sponsor of ours for, oh gosh, like 4 or 5 years now. So I want to thank Paul and Patty Stannard. Tonight's Moto Showcase bike happens to be based on a C&J frame. Okay, so with that C&J frame, I wanted to give you guys a little background of the C&J company. And I'll do that. Here it is. Created C&J frames. They have been raced by countless AMA Grand National victories and championships since 1970s. Over a career spanning 6 decades, Jeff Cole has fabricated championship-winning frames for racers in many disciplines due to his understanding and the geometry of these bikes. Now I got a connection problem as well. We're going to keep right on going. The company was located near Kawasaki Research and Development Department, and the factory road racing team soon noticed C&J Precision product frames. Cole and a classmate of his, Steve Jenkins, formed C&J Precision Products. They were dirt track race builders for Dallas Baker. Also a classmate helped them, and Jenkins better understood motorcycle design. He built frames for AMA Hall of Famers Scott Parker, Kenny Roberts, Ricky Graham, Bubba Schobert, Chris Carr, Dave Aldana, and Alex Jorgensen. Cole was recognized for his efforts in 2004 when he was awarded the AMA Pro Racing Award of Mechanical Excellence. Cole says the geometry and material of C&J frames are what make them superior to stock. Enter our Moto Showcase bike for tonight. It was sent in to us by Ben Brown. Ben Brown says this is a Sideport XL 250 in the C&J chassis. The original owner bought an XL new in 73 and Enduro raced it in Ohio for a season in its stock configuration. The next season, he attended a national Enduro. As a spectator, he saw the factory Honda team, and that's when he wanted to have a C&J frame with a bigger motor and decided he would follow with that. He ordered the C&J frame, the Works Performance shocks, the Beta forks, and the triple cramps. The rims were by Merrill Pro Wheels, Preston Petty Plastics. Contacted Bill Bell for the engine and all the hop-up parts. Years had gone on and the bike was abandoned, although I always kept my eye on it and I wanted to buy it. The transmission I had learned was updated with Webster gears, which made it stronger. The exhaust system was built by the original owner using a Super Trap muffler. I bought the bike after seeing it on Craigslist, even though I knew where the bike was for 20-some odd years. I restored the bike. I updated it to more current state. I raced it in Armor Vintage Motocross. It still has the original lower end piston cam valves transmission. Still uses the original point style ignition. It's a tremendous testament to the old bikes. Well, I would say it is a tremendous testament, and it's a great testament to you, Ben Brown, that you've done such a wonderful job restoring this bike. And for doing so, I want to get you. What do I want to send you? You know what? I'm going to send you some really cool stuff from Amsoil. Okay, I'm going to put a nice package together. Being you're a racer, I'm going to put some things together for Amsoil. I'm going to write it right here that I'm going to get you some Amsoil products. Get me your mailing address, Ben, and I'll get you some stuff. Compliments of Russell Waters. Susie.
Yeah.
What do we got as far as a trivia contest winner tonight? Do you know somebody? Hang on now. Wait, I'll put you on camera because you ready?
There's a lot of confusion.
There's a lot of confusion because people are on my personal page.
It only is on your personal page.
Oh,
Everybody's saying it's not on your.
it's not on my Vintage Motocross Q&A page?
No.
Okay.
And many people have made that comment, and I can't figure out, that's why I couldn't find it before.
Okay.
Anyway, the winner.
The winner.
Viewer appreciation.
No, yeah, it's not viewer appreciation. The winner of the trivia is the poster,
Oh,
the Marty Smith poster.
Oh, that's Roy Vanderveer. He was the first one.
Roy Vanderveer.
He was the first one.
And he guessed.
He guessed Trice.
There it is.
But a lot of people said Trice.
But Roy was the first one.
But Roy was the first one.
Here it is. Who had the most factory rides? Marty Tripes. He had a Yamaha, Honda CZ, Rickman, Bultaco, Harley Davidson, Can-Am, Honda, Yamaha, and Husqvarna. Brad, kind of a distant second there, Lackey. CZ, Kawasaki, Husqvarna, Honda, Kawasaki, and Suzuki. Roy, you are the winner of the poster, the Marty Smith poster.
I don't have.
Yeah, here, let me show you a picture of it. Roy, you're the winner of the Marty Smith poster, and I bet you want this, Roy. It's really nice. Look at this. Okay?
Yeah.
Very, very limited. I've only got one left. Richie Vassallo had one left at his place. He gave us the stickers. He gave us this poster too. So, Roy, get me your address, and I will get you the Marty Smith poster. Okay?
So Vanderveer says give it to the second person.
Roy,
Yeah.
a most generous human being. So who's the next person?
I don't know. Yeah. Because I want.
Well, take a minute. Take a minute. Find out who the next person is. Okay?
I can't.
You can.
I don't have the comments.
All right.
You're gonna have to figure it out.
I'm gonna have
Unless
to.
somebody can tell me who was after Vanderveer.
If somebody could tell us who was.
I think it might have been Ben Brown.
It can't be Ben Brown because it's Ben Brown. Oh no, yeah, Ben Brown's bike. He could be involved in the trivia too.
It looks like it might have been Ben Brown.
Okay, Ben Brown. Then we're gonna get you the poster, and I'm gonna get you a couple of goodies from Amsoil as well. Big night for Ben Brown.
Yeah.
Here on Vintage Motocross. Okay.
Okay.
Good night for Ben Brown here on Vintage Motocross Q&A. I've got a real interesting story going on here, and it involves the AMA suing for the major manufacturers. Can you imagine that? AMA suing for major manufacturers.
Did you know?
I'm sorry? This is a Did You Know segment, now that you mention it. And being our friend Jeff Kokoski is busy with weddings and social engagements all over the country for the past couple of weeks, I had to work up a couple of things on my own. So here it is. And I've only been able to secure one picture for this, but Trans USA controversy, and it's really, really a good story. While autumn may be a great time in nature to slow down, it was once a season for some of the fastest racing in the 70s and the 80s. September meant the beginning of the Trans Am Series, where the best racers in Europe would come over and race against the Americans. Trans Am Series made its stops from Saddleback all the way to Unadilla, even stopped in Canada. It was a grand time in motocross. However, by the early 80s, the series started to cool down and less European riders were participating. Supercross became a big crowd favorite. Under the new name, Trans USA, the controversy had exploded. AMA sues Honda, Suzuki, and Yamaha, read the headline in the October 6th issue of Cycle News in 1982. In a move unprecedented in motorcycling history, the AMA filed a $15 million antitrust lawsuit against three of the major manufacturers, Honda, Suzuki, and Yamaha. It was claimed the lawsuit was brought on after several years, which would inevitably become the production rule. The AMA believed that their motocross series here in the U.S. should be run on production-based motorcycles, recalls Ed Youngblood, who served as an AMA president from like 1492 until 1981, and then in his retirement in 1999. There was already an international series, the FIM World Championship, that allowed the use of prototypes. The AMA wanted it to be more fair for the privateer, and they did that by having the claiming rule, but that wasn't enough. According to Youngblood, representatives for Honda, Suzuki, and Yamaha saw it differently. Kawasaki didn't put up much of a fight for whatever reason, but Honda, Suzuki were trying to tell the AMA what to do. But there was no compromise to these issues until 1982. The three companies presented a co-signed letter to the AMA and told them, if you don't want to play by the rules that we want to play by, we're going to quit. When companies band together like that in an organization, it really becomes a U.S. federal antitrust case. they were under contract to ride the Trans USA Recalls Youngblood. Instead, they took their riders and went to California for a new series called Trans Cal. It created a big tension along the AMA with Youngblood. The AMA, which was founded in 1920, they were trying to get more people involved in motorcycling. They felt this was not a good way to do it. Anyway, if you want to read more about this, you can. I posted it on the page. But anyway, the show must go on, as they say, and the Trans USA season kicked off with Spring Creek, Millville, Minnesota. A privateer named Davey Hollis won the overall. Team Husqvarna's Billy Grossi also took 2 rounds at Redbud, and Donnie Cantalupi on a KTM won a round as well. There was only 2 rounds remaining. They were at Castle Rock, Colorado, and Sears Point. And had they been run, Billy Lyles and Billy Grossi would have probably won that series. Anyway, the rift between the AMA and the teams was handled with less difficulty. Apparently, the Cycle News reported that on December 15th. A new body was called the AMA Professional MX Racing Board. Works bikes were soon banned after that, and the Trans USA limped off into the sunset. But can you imagine that? Organization like the AMA suing major manufacturers because, well, they wanted to play by a little bit of a different set of rules. Not much, but they wanted to have their works bikes out there. They wouldn't allow that. And we had a big dust up like this back in 1982. There are other events coming up, and we've got some of them for you right here. Boy, we've got a slow connection tonight. Oh, man. Here it is. Two-stroke extravaganza that is happening on Sunday, October 6th. You don't want to miss that. I mentioned earlier about Scott Burnworth's race that's coming up this weekend at Glen Helen. And we've got now what appears to be This Week in Motocross History. Oh, you know what we're going to do? I need to take a little break. We're going to run the...
You want me to do the viewer appreciation?
We're going to do the viewer appreciation thing when we get back from the commercial for Replica Motorcycle Parts. Okay? So we're going to take a break from that. When we get back, we'll do the viewer appreciation thing as well. Okay?
All right.
I didn't do the... I don't know.
Hi, I'm Paul Parkinson with Replica Motorcycle Parts. I'm sitting here with our test bike, which is ridden by Jerry Maddox. It carries the #1 plate in the US. Let's go over a couple of the parts that we've got on here. We've got our ignition cover with the case saver built into it, so that when the chain comes off, you're not damaging your cases. Spacer, foot pegs. Jerry runs our air box. Seat brackets, keeps the seat on tight so he doesn't fall off when he's going over the whoops. And then on this side, Jerry runs a couple little things, a lot of little rubber parts on the bike and stuff are all done by us. And then down here we've got our brake pedal, which has got needle bearings in there, and then it's got a wider toe peg so it gives them a real nice, clean, easy to use brake. And then this is our latest part. This is a CR250 type knuckle. In fact, Honda used them on the last versions of the MR175s, and this is a real trick aluminum Kickstarter arm. So that gives them lightweight, strength, and reliability more than anything else.
All right, there you have it from ReplicaMotorcycleParts.com. I want to thank Paul Parkinson Sr. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Paul, down at the Langston Motorsports Bike Show that's coming up in October. Susie, the focus is on you. We had Ben Brown, who was the trivia winner, and now we have that. What are we? Oh, the stickers.
Yeah. This beautiful.
Beautiful sticker sheet, compliments of Rich Vassallo.
Yeah. And they go to Michael McAtee.
Mike McAtee.
Yeah.
Great guy, Mike McAtee. I met him a few times then at some of the Southern California events. Mike McAtee. Yeah. Get me your address. I will get you this sticker sheet. Compliments of Rich Vassallo. I know you were a big fan of Marty Smith's and you're going to really love these. Okay, Mike McAtee. I hope you're recovering. I know you had a little surgery recently. Mike McAtee, you are the winner of the Marty Smith sticker sheet.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about replicamotorcycleparts.com. There's Paul Parkinson. He's always got some great products out there. I'm sure I'll have some at York this winter, as well as down at the Langton show as well. I love these Kickstarter knuckles that he makes for the 1973 CR250 and the 1974 250 and 125. There's the Langston Bike Show. Don't forget, mark it on your calendar, October 26th. This Week in Motocross History is brought to you by Racer X on your newsstand now. If shit went any slower tonight, I'd be doing the show backwards. Okay, here we go. 1972. I can't. 1972, Finnish Husqvarna rider Heikki Mikkola won the Trans Am race at Dick Clampert's Honda Hills, which was about a half hour east of Columbus, Ohio. The top placing American happened to hail from Ohio, and it was Husqvarna rider Brian Kennedy of Cleveland. 1977, Team Honda's Marty Smith, the recently crowned AMA 500cc national champion, took the win at the second round of the 500cc Trans Am Series in Lake Sugar Tree in Axton, Virginia. Smith used a 2-3 finish to carve out a win over Suzuki's Roger DeCoster, Honda's Brad Lackey, and Yamaha's Bob Hanna. Marty really putting the boots to him that day, huh? Wow, over Roger, Brad, and Bob Hanna. It's really something special. 1978, Bob Hanna stormed into Redbud and won the second round of the 1978 Trans Am Series. Behind Hanna came a full team of other really cool nicknames from yesteryear, including Brad Lackey, Marty Typhoon Tripes, Rocket Rex Staten, Graham Rolls Noyce. In sixth place, Toreo Suzuki, who does not need a nickname at all. And that's what's going on in MX history. Don't forget, the Barber Festival is coming up. That happens October 10th through the 13th in Birmingham, Alabama, an absolutely amazing facility, and you're going to see a lot of beautiful vintage bikes there, as well as some racing. I was talking to Brad Lackey the other day. Brad's going to be down there, so if you're looking for Brad to give you an autograph on something, you can catch him at Barber. 2025, Sunday, January 12th. I will be in beautiful York, Pennsylvania for the swap meet. I bet Jeff Kokoski will be there, as well as Paul Parkinson, and a lot of other people from the show who turn out from the East Coast at the York swap meet. If you want to become a supporter of the show, get a hold of me for just $49.95. You can become a show supporter. You'll get a t-shirt. You'll get your name up on the board behind me, like you see right here, like so many wonderful supporters of the show, including who we got back there, Sweetie, Tim Vasquez, Keith Geiser, Al, Keith, Carl Ward, Tom Miller, and so many more. And you know what? There are some people who did not want their name put up there, but they took a shirt and they said we would humbly deny having our Motorborn events coming up too on the 26th. Now I thought once again, but I didn't. The Motorborn is happening on October 26th. The first time I did this show 5 years ago with no microphone, no lights, and an old phone, it went smoother than this show did tonight. But you know what? You're here. We gave away some prizes. We gave away a sticker sheet, a Marty Smith poster. Ben Brown was here. He won some stuff. Phil Liberty won some stuff. I did the best I could. I apologize.
And it's 104.
And it's 104 degrees here, and it's not so comfortable out in the shop today. That wraps it up for tonight's Vintage Motocross Q&A. I want to thank you all for being here and sharing the show. I'll make sure next week that I don't get any confusion involved, and I share it the same way I've been sharing it for the past 5 years. In the meantime, let's get the Gino Monster in here, and then that's a wrap for Vintage Motocross Q&A. Gino! Okay, Gene. Well, you're nice and cool because you were in the house with the air conditioner on.
Yeah.
Oh, what a good boy you are, Gino. I love you. Thank you all. Prayers to our friends down in North Carolina. Mike McAtee, congratulations. Phil Liberty, Ben Brown, and everybody, thank you for joining me at Vintage Motocross Q&A.